All that womp womp sounds to me so nice. All that womp womp sounds to me so nice.
Hi, this is Mahesh Ravi, and in this video, I'm just going to share a couple of key insights that you need to follow if you want to become a good designer, a great designer, actually. This is primarily for students of design and maybe even beginners of design, where I'm going to give you a set of rules, maybe checklist that you can keep it with you and maybe validate yourself when you're trying to improve your career in design. So I've broken down the essential qualities of a designer into a couple of lines here. And let's go through this one by one. So just let me give you a summary here. A designer needs a strong design foundation, very up-to-date research info, high tool efficiency, excellent time management, good communication, a high quality portfolio, and passion for learning. Let's take a look at what this actually means. So, what do you mean by strong design foundation? So, strong design foundation is something where there are rules of graphic design, or maybe principles of graphic design, which actually exist in the world, right? These might be coined by designers who existed based on human psychology, based on how we see things, how we understand things. So these rules are essential for a designer to understand while they are starting to work on design. So it could be very basic stuff like color theory, how a layout works, how hierarchy works or creates an impact in the viewer, what is type personality, how can you pair typefaces together, and what is the effect that it creates. All of those will come under your design foundation, right? The basic fundamental rules of graphic design. It's something mandatory, right? Every designer needs to know this. Maybe a process flow like design thinking is also a foundation that you start with. Concepts of space, concepts of form, concepts of grids, right? These are all design foundations. So how do we actually acquire this knowledge, right? There are several books on design foundation fundamentals, right, written by the pioneers of design, right? There are so many out there. Read them and try to understand why it actually is there. So for instance, The Design of Everyday Things by Dole Norman is an excellent book to actually understand design foundation or design fundamentals. Go through it and then try to interpret what it means to you, right? So, books are one way to get it. You can also get it from a classroom. So, if you're going to approach graphic design academically, your mentor can actually give you a lot of foundations. Your teachers can give you a lot of foundation. So, pay attention to that. Listen to them, interact with them, and try to learn the fundamentals from them. Fundamentals are going to be the same. It is going to be a constant thing, right? It will not evolve much. Um, so, for instance, the typography fundamentals could be the same um, 60 years ago, and it still is there, right? It's very relevant there. So most of the fundamentals, so think of it like gravity, right? It's not going to change much. The concept still exists. So that's something that you need to acquire. The second thing is very up-to-date research info. You need to have a very up-to-date research um, with you at all times, right, regarding the discipline that you are into. For instance, if you're a graphic designer, you need to know a lot of things about graphic design, contemporary graphic design, what is happening around you, right? This is very critical. It could be design trends. These are not fundamentals. This will not be written anywhere, right? We cannot. Maybe something about the changing target audience and what do they want, right? What are they looking for? Um, how to do certain things in design. Maybe it's a new technology which came out and you have no idea how to actually get around it. You can look it up. You can find that from a YouTube video. You can find it from the founder of that tool itself, because technology and networking is so easy right now. Um, you can look up at other people and learn from them about their workflows. You can look for inspirations on curated websites. You can see what is good design, what is bad designs. You can actually be very aware about the tools which are out there right now and just getting released every single day. So this is something that you need to do. Now, how do you acquire it? Can we get it from books? Can you get it from teachers? It can be. it can be acquired from books, but the kind of books that you need to look up here is curated books. So, for instance, books from Counterprint or Wiktionary or Perimeter or Taschen, these books are curated collections. So, you will see a set of graphic design works and projects which are featured, right? You will find out the reason why they are featured, and you will get to know that, okay, this is trending right now, right? Or this was trending at this point of time. This is why this is iconic, right? So they are not going to teach you how to do design. They are going to, that those books are not going to talk about how to recreate this design or the fundamentals of grids or anything like that. Those are not textbooks. Those are curated collections for you to see and keep yourself up to date with what is happening in design, right? So books definitely is one source of getting research done. Now there are so many AI tools available like Perplexity or ChatGPT for that matter, or um, even Basic. So use those technology to make your research easy, right? It will make it into consumable wikis that you can just, whenever you have a micro snack time of information, you just open your phone and then go through it, and you've already learned it, right? So use all of that to get up-to-date research info. This is something that requires a lot of initiative, right? I'll tell you why that is also going to come into picture soon. So the other thing that you need to be a good designer or a great designer is high tool efficiency. What do you mean by that? So if you have the ability to work with multiple tools, right, multiple tools for one singular task, then you are tool efficient, which basically means that you can use one particular tool for what it is good at. You can use another tool, you can quickly switch to another tool and get something done with that tool without compromising your quality or your vision by depending or trusting one tool, right? You are very adaptable, right? You can actually bring any tool into your workflow and you can get work done faster by improving the quality as well. So another thing is your speed, right? What is your productivity ratio, right? So um, what is the amount of things that you're doing versus time available to you? That's your productivity ratio. So that's very important. You need to work on your speed of doing things, right? You cannot be very slow when you're designing something or you're researching something or you're reading something and all that. You cannot be slow. You need to be very, very efficient and fast. Now, working with available tools is another thing. So don't think of it like, okay, if I have a laptop with this spec and if I have these software installed on it, then I will be able to do this design. Don't think of it like that. Don't limit yourself with the tool which is out there. Try to be more resourceful. Whatever is available to you. If you just have your phone and if somebody comes to you and say that, can you do a design? You should say that, yeah, I can do it. I can just open a tool, a mobile app, and I can design something out of that. So it's working with available tool, right? Whatever is at your disposal at that time, you should be able to push out something using that. That's your tool efficiency. Now, another important point here is your time management, right? This is very closely connected to your productivity ratio here. How well are you using your time? How are you utilizing your time in a day, right? Or maybe in your even if you divide that into your study time, right? How are you utilizing your time? What is the time that you're dedicating for research? What is the time that you're dedicating for practice? What is the time that you're dedicating for studying things? This needs to be very important. This is also very important when you're working on projects as well, or maybe even assignments, right? Do not keep anything to the last minute, but instead of that, take the whole time available to you, divide that, and then assign tasks into those buckets, and you will be able to finish everything perfectly well. Try to bring down the mundane tasks, like automatable tasks, give it to some AI tool, focus on something creative and interesting while you're working on it, and produce something really good with very in that time that is available to you. Don't see, you don't have to. If you have excellent time management skills, you will not be worried about a deadline in your life. Good communication skills, um, you have to start interacting with people, right? You need to, maybe it is difficult when you think about it. Okay, when you hear about communication, a bigger concept is actually coming to you, bigger than the actual reality, right? When somebody says that you need to be good at communication, the immediate image that comes to your mind is you standing in a stage with thousands of people watching and you're doing a speech. That is not what we mean, right? When you say that you have to have good communication skills, you just need to convey an idea to another person clearly. That's it, right? One person conveying an idea to another person clearly, that is also communication. This is not dependent on language also, right? The only reason that we are speak or I am speaking in English right now is that I have a bunch of students who are coming from different parts of the country, and they might speak different languages, so I need to actually stick to one language that all of them can understand. um, but think about this: are you able to hold a conversation in your own native language? How many of you are confident to actually you know do a speech in your own native language? So it's not actually about the language, it's about your attitude, right? You need to start interacting. You can start it by just acknowledging people, right? How many of you have that habit of acknowledging something? Let's say you're seeing something interesting from your friends, right? Like it. Just click on an emoji and like it. Just don't ignore it, right? So many times, like I've felt this, like when we share something, right, with a group of people, like let's say we use Slack to communicate between batches and things like that, um, to students. So I might be posting content there, and I will be looking for acknowledgement, but it's a very few students, maybe 3 or 4 students out of like a 500 student college who will come and acknowledge or like the content which is being shared to them. So that's a basic. And this it's not just about students, right? See, if you do this with staff also, this can happen. If you do it with your teammates, it can happen. If you do it with your family, this can happen. You share something and nobody actually cares about it. Nobody acknowledges it. It's a very simple gesture, right? It's just a like, or it's something you say that you thumbs up, or if you completely disagree with something uh, that somebody is sharing, you still acknowledge it by using a negative emoji, right? Or say that I don't agree to it. But acknowledgement is where you start communicating, right? If you ignore things, people will start ignoring you, right? Nobody will even remember you. So, one good example that I can give you is that when I'm sharing my posts on, let's say, the Slack channel, many of you, the students who will come and what do you say, like the post, right? Some of, I'm not, no, I'm not saying many, but a few of you will come and like it. I will remember that because I can see the data of 3 people actually liked it. I will see their names, right? I might not know them personally, but out of let's say 400 people, I know the names of 3 people, which is you made an impression already in your mentor, right? That's a huge leap from being unknown to your mentor, right? You reacted. So when I was doing this session yesterday, I could only remember one name of a student, because it's a completely new batch. I have never taught that batch, right? I was there and I could only remember one student name in that batch uh, because that person interacted with me. He used to like all the posts, and I remember the name immediately. I was able to connect to that person, right? So this is the power of acknowledgement. That is where it starts. You start connecting to people, you start talking to them, you start replying to them next time, you start speaking to them, meet them, start interacting. And that's how you develop your communication skill. When somebody says good communication or communication sessions or communication initiatives, don't think about you standing in a huge stage. That's not what is required. Just think about acknowledging first. That's it, right? How well am I acknowledging somebody else who's doing something for you, right? Could be an useful information, right? Could be a blog post that I've written. I'll share it with all the students all the time, right? And these are useful stuff. Like if you read it, it might be useful. But how many of you are acknowledging it? Just think about it. Now, this is a no-brainer. I think you know it. Like, you need a very high-quality portfolio if you want to be a good designer, because that's the only way that you can show the world that I'm a good designer, right? If you talk about your design skills a lot, nobody is going to believe you until they say something until they are able to see something that you have done. So show them that. One last thing is your passion for learning. Without passion, nothing ever worked in this world, right? So if you're passionate to do something, if you're passionate about driving yourself, right? See, I started working on LinkedIn maybe 2, 3 yeah, I think 5 years, roughly 5 years back, I started working on LinkedIn. On the same time, I started working on my YouTube channel as well. I started putting videos there. There were no likes, there were no views. It was just there, right? I was doing it just because of my passion of sharing stuff, right? I I was consistent in sharing in LinkedIn and in YouTube. Continuously, I made YouTube tutorials. I made, um, LinkedIn posts, blogs, and I shared it in both those platforms. If I was expecting quick results, nothing would have happened, right? Because I was not expecting quick results. It was my passion that I wanted to share. That I just went after my passion. I did it. But it reaped results right now. So currently, I'm getting continuous messages from LinkedIn and YouTube from founders of platforms, tools, and things like that, asking for my involvement in their project, asking for my insights, my interviews about how the user experience is. People are contacting me. People want to collaborate with me, right? Because of the content that I have created over these past 5 years, they can look at my profile and they'll see that, okay, this guy actually started working long back, so he has that amount of experience, so I should reach out to them. So I'm getting a lot of offers. Like, I'm getting offers to go to places, to attend their ceremonies, or to attend their product previews, um, invitations to be a part of their research group. So much of stuff is coming right now just because of my passion. I was not doing it for this, but I am at that level right now. So this is something that I personally wanted to share with everybody, that if you pursue your passion, if you just go after it, if you just believe it, and if you try for it, it'll definitely get you the results, right? So it will definitely get you the right results, not some likes and shares and stuff like that, but people who really matter will start actually reaching out to you. So trust that. I hope this actually makes sense to you. It's a very short video, I hope. But keep these things in mind and start working towards, your career with passion. And I'm always available for a conversation. And reach out to me. I'll see you with another video soon. Till then, bye bye. Take care.